Ally.
Ally.
An ally are those who...
An ally. does that include a health worker?
So
read your definition.
Yes. Yeah. So an ally is defined as a person who produces, procures, markets, broadcasts, disseminates, publishes, or distributes a material with intent to promote an act prohibited under this act. B. Evoke the interest of a child in an act prohibited under this act. Or C. Teach a child to explore a gender other than the binary category of male or female. So, for example, if you have a health worker who is actively prescribing testosterone to a woman to help her transition, that person is carrying out an act that is promoting an act prohibited under this bill. So, or a teacher who is teaching children that it is okay for a boy to fall in love with another boy or a girl. That person is considered an ally. Allies are largely heterosexual people who themselves are not engaged in any LGBTQ, but promote the activities for in many instances, financial gain. Currently, one of the biggest challenges we have is people who are on social media holding themselves out as one or two of these expressions and publicly doing manifestations. The law is saying that, and with holding themselves out in that mannerism, are actually encouraging and influencing people on social media to embrace that. We must be able to hold such individuals responsible for that public expression. That is separate from when you find somebody in the act. And that's where I agree with Honorable Tampuli, that this will create two different charges. One of holding out. So I don't want to mention a particular name, but there's a particular person on social media who is constantly dressing up and holding himself out, a man as a woman, and is being even celebrated at public functions. Such a person can be charged under this law if he passes out for holding out as a lesbian.
Sir, that's good. Dr. Annan.
I think if we don't take care, we make things look so broad, and this law must also meet the criminal test. I mean, the principle of criminality, what amounts to criminal culpability. The two must go together. The Artus rules and the mens rea. So if I say I'm an armed robber, or I believe in promotion of armed robbery, does that amount to criminal liability? And if you don't take care, this will leave room for people to stigmatize and speculate.
Yep.
So it's very dangerous to say holding out. Holding out means that I can hold. Holding out is my head.
No, that's not what the bill is saying. The bill says a person shall not hold out. So you do not hold me. I hold myself out.
Not holding you. Holding can be your dress, your appearance, the way you the gesture.
All right, so let me explain.
Chairman,
let me explain and make
this is Parliament. In Ghana today, there is a gentleman whose video has been there's a gentleman for whom a video was leaked and an altercation between himself and a male lover of him came up last year, a gentleman known as Headucator. Now he can be charged on the basis of the video of male and male intercourse. That is a different thing. But aside from that video that came out, that individual holds himself out and promotes homosexual activity on his social media page. That person is holding himself out. So there is an act, and there is the actor's rules and mens rea can be determined from his activity. So you take his activity on social media, his public commentary he has made where he admits to what his sexual preferences are.
So you can't make that statement.
So
He's not allowed to make that statement.
It is not just about making the statement. That the actus rules then goes to what has he been doing. The statement is an evidence of the mens rea, the thinking. But the actus rules is in what has he done to actualize the statement that he is this.
So
then
those two, so those two must go before you can ground a cause of criminality. So
Humbly just want to bring to the attention of the House, also having taught criminal law,
I told you.
what we are dealing with is what you would call status offenses, which is the state of a person. Increasingly, countries are moving away from that because it is very difficult in practice to actually prosecute such. I heard eloquent arguments being made, for instance, with inchoate offenses. Even there, as Dr. Annan indicated, even if it's a mental crime, like conspiracy, as it were, you would still have to establish both its mental element and then its action, which may well be in the head, as it were. So, yes, like threat. So countries have been careful rather to be more specific around actions. And that's why even in what we are discussing, if you look at our sister countries, Uganda, Nigeria, their laws tend to be more definitive of actions rather than the state of the person. So I only humbly submit that we perhaps, if you had even said a person is, as honorable member you indicated, is might actually be an easier way to work things out rather than hold out, because the spectrum of holding out or the status of a person can be so broad that in actual practice it might actually be impossible to find anybody to prosecute. So as you consider any criminal legislation, consider also the opportunity for defense and what people can come up with. So that is just to place on the table that as we look at this, contemporary criminal legislation, it will be more for actually stating specific actions you want to prohibit rather than the status of the person who would commit such an offense. Thank you, Honorable.
Dr. Foley, at what point will you say, for instance, in section 1, at what point will you say this act applies to a person who is a lesbian, who is a gay, who is a bisexual? At what point will you say this is a who is?
It means you have to prove.
Dr. Now you're out of order.
I would respectfully even steal his point out of order because it would impute a certain presumption. And so you would want to actually specify, right, specify. And you are saying prohibited acts. There are people who, for the want of a better term, if a school is organizing any function, right, for drama or anything, and they cross-dressed, right, for cultural expression, they cross-dressed, is there a criminal intention to promote?
That will not.
Allow. Hey, Rev, allow. Doc, continue.
Yes. And so you would want to be very specific on those prohibited acts rather than. So if they are exempted, then you also want that to come very early in the law, so that anyone who is reading it is clear in their mind. Otherwise, from the beginning, you're going to run into problems. So I only say that we should be careful around status offenses. And increasingly, we are moving away from that because they are quite difficult to prosecute. I'm looking at the hereafter of the law, and you may not be able to actually catch anyone. Yes.
Fifi and Sam, judging from your, I'll come to you. Who is? If you go by who is a lesbian, a gay, a bi, whatever.
Chairman, you must read the preamble. Right. A person shall not. You can't say a person shall not who is.
No, I'm talking about
who is.
I'm talking about one.
Yeah, but one has a preamble. A person shall not.
Yes. So a person shall not.
Because that deals with A, B, C, D before you get to E, which says hold out.
Yes.
And Chairman, let me just give you a fantastic example. And maybe this will make the whole room laugh a bit. There's another individual called Angel Magazine. Angel Magazine says that Angel Magazine is a male who claims that he has transitioned to a female and has held himself out on TV and done music videos, and now claims that he is having intersex with Honorable Ntim Fourjour, and that Honorable Ntim Fourjour is his gay lover. Now, on that person's claim, that person is holding out and making such claims. Tell me how we managed to prosecute these ACP Agodro and others on the basis of a text message in a WhatsApp group that was a conversation that we were able to find criminality and prosecute. But why are we saying that someone like this individual who has gone out to hold out and is even making such claims, we are saying we can't hold the person is not holding, and that is not prosecutable?
Chairman, my name has come up. It is important I respond. Mr. Chairman, I want to state categorically, I have never been gay. I have never been any LGBT.
You don't have any friends.
I have no intercourse whatsoever with
Reverend.
Angel Maxine. In
Rev.
her old or present life, no, it's important. In her old or present life, as contrary to her claim, contrary to his or her claim that she has had some, perversive intercourse with me, I've never engaged in any sexual intercourse apart from what God created between Adam and Eve. And to state that the concerns that Doctor and all my friends have raised is addressed in clause 7. Here, we for the purposes of this act, grossly indecent act means public show of romantic relations between among persons of the same sex, public show of romantic relations between or among persons where one or more of the persons have undergone gender or sex reassignment or cross-dressing to portray that the person is of a gender different from the gender determined at birth. But the catchword here,
Are they holding out?
No. With intent to engage. So that is addressing those concerns that people who cross-dress for cultural purposes, there is no intent. But the person who is claiming, self-confessing, posting videos and acts, and identifying clearly beyond a doubt that they are LGBTQ who fills a form with all fidelity and indicates that they are LGBTQ for whatsoever ulterior purpose, has given sufficient prima facie grounds for which they should be liable under this act. If we fail to uphold the holdout, then what is the foundation of the mischief we are trying to cure here? Thank you.
Now, if you look at those who commit the offense, the sentencing regime under this one is even more than those who commit the offense. Because if you hide in your room and go and engage in any sexual activity, nobody is going to see. And you are not likely to corrupt anybody. But it is an outward manifestation that we must discourage more than even the performance. Because nobody, even those who are engaged in heterosexual sex, do they come and do it publicly? They do it in the comfort of their homes.
Hold out